everyone. So excited today. I am here with Lady Gozen, and yeah, here with Lady Gozen, and today we want to talk to you about dating. Now, I've known Lady Gozen for probably over 5 years, and her ministry, and I'll ask her just to share a little bit about her ministry. But when the opportunity arose for us to be able to do this video about dating, I couldn't think of anybody better to do this video with. So I really do hope that you are blessed and that you are encouraged and that you receive a word, no matter what year you watch this, no matter what season that you're in, that you know God is with you. So I'm just gonna have a conversation with my girl, Lady Gozen. My first question is, Lady Gozen, tell us a little bit about you and tell us about your ministry and how you came into it.
I didn't catch the last bit, and how
you got into the ministry that you are currently in.
Amen. Thank you so much for having me, first and foremost. So Wife in the Waiting is the name of the ministry, and to be honest, when I got this message from God, I was like, no God, no, I'm not going to be waiting any longer. I'm not going to be single for very long, so no, don't want it, don't give it to me. And then I just knew I had to surrender this season completely to him. So Wife in the Waiting is a ministry specifically for women. It's to empower them and encourage them in the waiting season. There's obviously scripture, as we're all familiar with, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and receives favor from the Lord. So that told me that it's not about a man finding a woman, it's about them finding a wife. So then my next question to God was, Lord, cultivate me to be the wife for my husband. So, and God actually does that. He cultivates you to be who you are in preparation for your desires, in preparation for the promises that God has given you. So that's what we do. We wait on God's promises very well. We wait actively, we wait gaining knowledge, and we wait trusting God because he is faithful.
Amen. Wonderful. Oh my gosh, that's so good. So one of the thoughts that came across, even though we are here today, I think dating, it goes for guys as well. So we will be able to feed a word in for the guys likewise.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. Just share openly and honestly your experience as well, and we just have a dialogue. So what is dating to you?
So I think people complicate it. A date is an arranged gathering of people. That's it. It's a date. Like when we look at it in the calendar, it's like a day. It's a day. So we usually have dates. You know, I always say I'll go on dates with my girlfriends. I go on dates with you, Tabi. We have dates where we'll just go for a drink, or we'll go for a walk, but it's a date. So I think we over spiritualize or over kind of emphasize what a date is. A date is a gathering of people. A date is a moment in time. That's just really basic level. So that's what a date. But I believe you're asking in a relationship context.
I am asking
so
the relationship
in that, it's a gathering of two people that have some kind of interest or some kind of agenda or purpose in the gathering.
Oh, I like that. Some kind of purpose and agenda in the gathering. So dating, we are saying, should be purposeful.
Absolutely. To me, I think God is a purposeful God. So he is so intentional with everything he does. And we too, as children of God, need to be intentional with what we're doing. We need to be intentional with our time. We need to be intentional with the people we surround ourselves with, the people that we entertain, because we all know those people that we shouldn't be entertaining, but we are. So we need to just be really intentional with what we do. So that doesn't mean go on a date with everyone that asks. There needs to kind of be some kind of like pre-qualifying questions or pre-qualifying something to even see whether they are a person to go on a date with.
Mm. Okay. So what do you think are some of the first things that we should do before going on a date? And I mean, this goes for both guys and for females as well. What do you think we should be doing?
I think it really depends on what age you are, and it depends on what kind of stage we're at. I believe this conversation's for people at various stages of dating, whether they're kind of youth, young adults, and then yeah, the adults too. So if you're a youth, dates. Sorry, let me just qualify. The question was, what are the kind of things that we need to consider before a date?
Yeah. Yes.
So we need to kind of know something about the person. We need to, know what kind of a person are they, and what is your agenda for the meeting. Obviously, we can't know other people's intents or whatever their heart is or wherever they're at. But what is your agenda and your purpose for the meeting? So are you meeting them with intention to be in a romantic relationship with them? Or are you meeting them just to discuss something? Are you meeting them like me and you? Whenever we gather, whenever we meet, it's always like, so what we can do? You know, we're going to go out for lunch. Are we going to go for a walk? Are we going to have a Bible study? Like, what is the purpose of that date? So we need to kind of do that for all relationships. So, and obviously, if you're looking at it in a romantic way, what do they have that you like in a romantic relationship? So as children of God, we're like, all right, so we know we need someone at the similar mind level, belief level. They need to believe in God. They need to believe in Jesus. So do they even do that? Because if they don't, it's like, okay, so what are you going to do? Like, what is your intention then on the meeting? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the other things that comes to my mind is why are we dating? Because I think so many times, I mean, I myself, let me just do that from a personal experience before I was saved. I went on meeting people because I wanted to be loved. So I thought when I met them, that was the way for me to receive love. So it's a case of, well, why are you dating? Why are you interested in that person? Is it to fill that void? Is it because you are lonely? You know, is it just because you want a companion? Like, what is the reason for you wanting to pursue this person? And I think until we've really established that, and no matter what age you are at, I think then you will know how best to take it to that next level. So, speaking as if I was a teenager, um, if I was a teenager, what do you think are some of the things that I can do in terms of dating and keeping in a good godly manner, in a good godly way, to maintain purity and also to get to know more about that person?
Right. So as a youth, I think it's important to know who you are, or know where you want to go, or know what you want, or just even know God. Because like you said, unless you know God, you're not going to know your worth. You're not going to know your standards. You're not going to know who God says you are. So I think first and foremost, building a relationship with God. Like, this isn't religion, this is relationship. It's like, hey, Jesus, like me and Jesus all the time are like, hey, like, Lord, come with me into this conversation. Lord, speak through me right now. Lord, you're walking down the street with me. It's that consciousness of God. So we need the consciousness of God. And we also kind of need to know what we kind of want. What do you want? On a youth level, I think friendship is more important than thinking romantically. Any adult will tell you you want to marry your best friend. You want to marry the person that just gets you, the person that you can kind of just click with, the person that, you don't even have to spill out everything. They kind of just know the way you think. They know the way you act. So that's who you want to marry. So really, instead of building or thinking about, hey, I want to kind of get into a romantic relationship, why don't you just think, and this goes for every age group, actually,
Yes.
why don't you just think, hey, I just want to make friends. Like, I just want to build friends. And you will learn really soon that friendship is not easy. It is work. It is about, being intentional with following up with the person and you know, asking them how their day is and checking in on them and vice versa. So if, to me, I've got this thing where if they're not a good friend, they're not going to be a good girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is. So work on friendship first.
Wow, that's so paramount. It sounds so like simple, like, you know, just work on a friendship first. And I could just imagine if I was a teen, you know, you go out in groups, you go bowling, you go cinemas, you know, you hang out in groups at the park, you have crisps and you have like sodas and stuff, and you just really have a laugh. Like, it doesn't need to be too serious, too heavy. You know, you really want to enjoy your youthful age. And then with that friendship, like what you were saying, you know, then that can obviously develop. But having a friendship first is just so paramount. And I love what you said. I love it. Love it. It stops so many heartbreaks.
Right. Like, I wish I knew this back then. I wish someone literally told me, don't be looking around other people getting into boyfriend girlfriend relationships. You just work on friendship. And when the time is right, when you are ready, when you feel as though you have something to bring to a marriage, whether you're a young lady or young man, when you feel as though you're ready for that stage in your life, I believe God will open up the path for you. But it's the relationships we get into prematurely, like too soon, and then get heartbroken, hurt. And why do we rush into those? Because everyone else has got a boo. Everyone else has got someone they're loved up with. No, you are precious. You are worth waiting for. You are the pearl of great price, one of the Bible parables is. It's the one that, like, your husband, your wife will leave every other option for you. Why? Because you stand out. Stand out. Don't just kind of get in a relationship just because everyone else is. I know it was kind of like a thing for me where I was one of the last to get into a relationship with my peer groups. Like, all my other girlfriends had boyfriends, and they'll kind of just like go and hold hands and stuff like that. I was one of the last in the group. I wish I knew God then. I wish someone come to me and said, do you know what? They might be in relationships. Your husband's going to be, so he's going to be so ready for you. Don't rush into relationships because you think that might be the way that you need to do because everyone else is.
Yeah. And oh my God, it's so true. I actually remember when I was in school and I was in Kingsmead. When I was in school. Pause 1 second. Can you pause 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, it's funny you should say that. I actually remember when I was in school, my friends, they actually kind of pushed me into a relationship. It was like by the evening, they said I was going out with somebody in my class. And I think it lasted all about 12 hours. He then held my hand after school and brought me to the bus stop and then put me on the bus. And by the next morning, we were completely broken up. It was like, that was it. It was finished. And I mean, I only did that because my friends were like, yeah, you should do that. You should do that. And I think at a crucial point in your life, you kind of lose your focus. And what happens is you start trying to be an adult before your time, but not realizing some of the hurt that sometimes an adult goes through when, as a teen, you don't necessarily need to do that. God loves you so much and he loves you more than anybody else. So what you said about building a relationship with God first is paramount. It's fundamental for you to do so. And also, as you're building the friendship, like what you said, you get to know things about one another, likes and dislikes, and how to develop a really good relationship. And it develops you as a person. Like you said, the speaking, the communication, it helps you to grow to be a better young adult and a better adult as well. But yeah, just take this time to just build up friendships. I love that.
I want to pick up on something you said there, because I'm also a relationship coach. So I actually coach men and women into renewing their mindset and just really kind of getting to the root of those you know, beliefs that we think and feel. You said something very interesting there, in the sense of you dated them for 12 hours and then there was a rejection, right?
With breaking up, it was like, oh, okay.
No,
Yeah.
but it was a rejection of some kind.
Yeah. Right.
It was and then there was this thing that, you know, people don't often realize, and then it's the shame that kicks in, that, oh, the relationship didn't even work. What are people going to say? You know, there's so many more factors that we are not aware of that are happening, that are building the layers of our inner person.
Yeah.
So, you know, at such a young age, you're forced into a relationship. Well, you're kind of like peer pressured into a relationship, right? And then you've got this sign of rejection, the relationship ends, and then you've kind of got this shame where it's like, oh, yeah, about that. And you don't want to talk about it. You want to brush it right under the carpet. And that's what so many people do. And then they get into another relationship, and then they have a similar cycle. And then they get into another relationship, then a similar cycle. I know this can get quite deep, but really be aware of the choices we make today affect our tomorrows. Right? Literally. So if we do life knowing that every decision I make today, like we see it with the health and all this healthy eating thing. If you know, I like cake. If I eat cake every day, I'm going to start looking like I like cake.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to, you know, wonder why I've got, you know, a larger belly or whatever else, because of the cake. So those choices that I made daily to eat that thing affected me. I didn't see it straight away, but through time it will show up. And the same is with connecting yourself or going into relationships prematurely. So going into relationships too soon, too quickly, without really thinking about it, without getting counsel and wisdom. So, you know, always ask, you know, maybe it's a trusted mentor at church, or maybe it's someone else that you know that can help you, counsel you, guide you in making the right decisions, because today's decisions are tomorrow's destination.
Yes. Wow, so true. Man, that is so true. That's so
deeper
true.
than we think. It's deeper than we think.
So
and then
true.
What happens?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, why can I never keep a relationship? Why, you know, why are people not appreciating me in relationships? You've already built.
Why don't anyone like me?
Right? And it was never about that in the first place. You need to like you enough to make the right decisions today.
Yes. Oh, wow. Because I must admit, I've seen so many things. And also, let me just say about myself, like the first testimony that I gave about wanting somebody to love me. When I was in school, it was wanting someone to like me. Like I never felt pretty. I never felt good enough. And actually, that kind of followed me throughout my adult life until God had to kind of show me when it first started. So going into just building as friends, you're taking off all the pressure of the world. We don't need that pressure at this time. Don't need that pressure. And also, the thing is as well, you know, peer pressure, if we think about peer pressure, what actually came into my thoughts is sex. Like, we do not want to be pressured into that. Like, that's something so sacred that God has kept for marriage, and it is for a reason. Some may not understand why he did this, but let me just be real. The cuts that you get when you act prematurely, like what you were saying, the cuts and the wounds are deep.
Yeah.
And we want to avoid that.
And why are they so deep? Because you physically, spiritually, emotionally, and physically connected yourself with another that was never for you for the rest of your life.
And when that breaking happens, when you separate and you break up,
it's like Velcro. You know, when you tear Velcro away, you get that, right? The tearing happens, but then the healing needs to happen. And what people often do is don't allow themselves to heal. And then, you know, there is no shame. Like before, you know, if those are the decisions you made in the past, there's no shame in that.
Yes.
But, you know, ideally, I know I would have wanted this message as a youth. I would have wanted someone to tell me relationship is only permanent, or relationship is in God's way, is in the covenant agreement of marriage. And it's the, I'm going to do life with you. It's the, you know, founded in God. His word is your 3-strand cord, right? It's a Bible scripture. You'll get it at some point. But it's understanding what happens. And a lot of times as youth, people, you know, have sex with people because of that peer pressure again. Everyone else is doing it. I'm missing out. You know, the missing out syndrome, they call it. You're not missing out on anything by keeping yourself pure for the one that's meant to be with you, because God's designed for marriage. And this is what I teach the women all the time. God's design for marriage is for you to be with one mate for the rest of your life. To have that one connection for the rest. You know, it doesn't always work. There's so many different factors. Yes, I understand that. But don't be setting yourself up to be emotionally, spiritually, physically wounded by these relationships that people get into too soon just because everyone else is doing it. Everyone else might not have got this memo. Everyone else might not have got this message, but you have people that really care for you, that love you and want you to succeed in relationships. Because the truth is, the quality of your relationships around you determine where you're heading. And we don't like to think this. It's because those people are speaking into your ears. Those people are connected with you. So the quality of those people around you, whether it be your friends, your peer groups, if they're pressurizing you, you need to be the one that's bold enough to say, you know what, that's not for me. Go find another group of friends. They will come. But peer pressure is a big, big thing. Don't let it make you get into relationships prematurely. It will do you more damage than anything else.
Yeah. And that goes for both. That advice goes for both male and female. And I wanted to just say something to the ladies or the young girls that are listening. Like, your body is so worth it. It's worth more. It's not just it's not just something that you give away. Honestly, your body is so valuable. You are so precious. Like, don't give up or lay down because you want somebody to like you. I'm saying it because it's my testimony myself. Do not think, know your worth, know that your body, you are so worth so much more. Like, God values you. You are like a precious jewel, like a diamond. And no one really gives a diamond away for free. Let's face it. You have to spend a lot of money on buying a diamond. And I'm not saying that your body can be bought. What I'm trying to say to you is how precious it really is, and you really are. So don't give up. Like, you are more valuable than rubies, the Bible says, diamonds or gold. You are so precious. So don't do it just because you want somebody to like you or to love you or fit into what everybody else is doing. Like, that's a lie from the enemy. You would be I don't want to say more valuable, but just saying no and knowing who you are is just so much more precious than saying yes and not knowing who you are. Like, honestly, I'm being so serious with you. You're very, very valuable, and nothing anybody else can give you is worth more than your body, than what Christ can do. Okay, so on a personal note, I really wanted to just share that with you, and guys too. Like, honestly, don't just do it just for the sake of doing it, or I want to see how many girls I can have, or whatever, you know, to try and make you feel as though you are handsome. You are handsome already. Like, girls don't need to tell you that you're handsome. Like, you are handsome. Know your worth. Like, some of you young guys out there, you have got so much potential, so much inside of you, so much creativity, you know, so much love. You're hardworking, you're passionate, you're emotional. It doesn't make you weak because you say no, okay? When the right time is and you say yes, you're going to think about all them times that you said no and said, you know what, I was a lot stronger than those people who said yes. So honestly, you are so precious. You're so precious to God, and He loves you very, very much. So I wanted to just say that.
Just to piggyback off what you said, I would go as far to say that saying no makes you more powerful. Saying no makes you stronger because you're not going with the crowd. What is it they say? Only a dead salmon, a dead fish, the dead fish go with the tide.
Yes, that's so true. Everything
Right?
else swims upward.
Only dead fish, all the others swim upwards.
Yes.
We need to swim upwards to God. Swim upwards to Him. Do it His way. Honestly, the day that I decided to do everything God's way was the day my life changed. And it was the day that, I'm changing, but able to help other people going through this. And like sometimes we kind of look at women and they're so beautiful, they're so, precious, but men too. You know your worth. When you know your worth, you know that a measly couple of minutes means nothing, right? And also what you said about the diamond analogy, I love it. So like when you go into a diamond shop, I'm not sure if you've ever been to like a jewelry shop that sells quality diamonds, but when you do, they often have the cheaper diamonds at the front in the window display, right?
Ooh,
So
ooh, I feel sugar.
diamonds, right? The most expensive diamonds are not on display. The most expensive diamonds are the ones in the safe at the back of the jewelry shop, right at the back, right? And you, men and women, you are to be the one hidden in Christ right at the back, that when someone walks in, they assess their caliber, they assess their character, they assess whether they even have the ability to afford the diamonds at the back where you are, right? So don't be giving your diamonds away. Don't be giving your diamonds away. Don't be offering up your treasure at the front. Like I always say to the ladies, you can't be putting yourself on display. Stop trying to get attention from men. Stop trying to get that attention, because when you get that attention, you're going to feel more hollow because it's meaningless. Get rooted in Him. Get hidden. Psalm 91, those that are hidden in the secret places of the Most High. We shall abide under His shadow of the Almighty, right? Abide in Him, abide in Christ. Be the diamond right at the back. That they need to come past you, your dad. They need to come past your pastor. They need to come past your mentors and a whole, community of people just to get to you. Be that one. And I always say to the women and men, right? Don't play hard to get, be hard to get. And there's a difference, right? So the men sitting at the back are not playing hard to get. They're not even entering the game, because they know their worth, they know their value, and they know that it's going to take a God-sent person to come and be able to have you, their treasure, as a husband or wife.
Ooh, oh my gosh, that is so good. I was literally really trying to be still and be quiet behind here. I was even thinking of putting my microphone on mute. That's so good, and that resonated. Like the visual of having the diamonds on the front of display.
Yeah,
it's man, as a person, just having everything out and just allowing people to see your try on or whatever the case may be. The good diamonds are at the back. It's the ones that come and say, hey, yes, I want to purchase. Crazy. Oh my gosh.
and I want to do things properly. I want to go and ask your father for your hand. I want to respect your pastor and go meet with him before I even entertain taking you or desiring to marry you or any of that. Like people that want to love you the right way, God's way, that will not put them off. They won't care. They will go straight to your father. They will have the boldness of God because God sent them, right? They'll have the boldness of God to go to the right measures, whether they're going to your brother, whether they're going to your father, whether they're going to your mum, whoever, just to get to you. Oh, God sent will get to you.
Yeah.
And how to, because God will tell them.
And the guys as well, it's like you've assessed the worth of this jewel, like wow. And then when you get it, it's like my hard work went into receiving her, like the lovely things that you would do. And I always say chivalry is not dead, it's just not being taught. Guys, let's say there's nothing wrong with opening the door. There is nothing wrong in allowing your kind-hearted self, nature self, come through for a lady. There is nothing wrong. But like we said, for the right diamond.
Right? And no man wants a diamond that's been tried on by everyone else.
Oh my gosh.
Am I just saying it real straight right now? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just giving you truth. A man doesn't want something that's been, it's like they have the bicycle analogy. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's ridden it, like, whatever. No. Honey, that is not you. And men, if that's not what you want, don't be entertaining it. Don't
Oh,
be
so true.
adding to it. Because the thing is, men, you're affected by interactions with, like, physical interactions, or like having sex with multiple women. Your spirit is now affected by each of them. Like, sex isn't just physical, it's a spiritual thing. And then soul ties, no one talks about these. Soul ties are built because you have had that physical interaction, and then now their spirit is with you, or like, their soul, you're connected with this person. And then one of the challenges we have with the women is, I want to break those soul ties. How about we don't create those soul ties in the first place, right? Let's keep our souls pure, let's keep our minds pure, let's keep our spirits pure, and then all the emotional stuff, it just won't be built up.
Yes. And also, well, there's a thought, but I think it's kind of left. Oh, brothers and the brothers and sisters. It's like, if this is not the person that you want to pursue, and they are offering, just think of them like, this is my sister. Like, I wouldn't want to do that to you, because I know the implications and the effects that will happen afterwards. So let me just not do that to you. I wouldn't want to see you broken. I wouldn't want to see you hurt. I wouldn't want to see you upset. So I won't be the person that allows that to happen to you. So I'm just going to say no. And there's absolutely nothing wrong. You're not a whim. Strong, exactly. That's
Take someone strong to even have the boldness to say no to what is being offered up to them.
Absolutely.
What is it they say? Don't eat the meat from the altar. From the table, the altar table in the synagogue, where they'll have the meat that have been laid out for offerings. Don't go to that. Don't go to, just because it's laid out for you. Don't consume it. Don't lay it. Just assess. You get to choose. Hold up. Is this God? Is this from you? Because if it is, he'll do it the right way. They won't be needing to kind of go in the back streets, behind people's backs. And that's another thing. People go into dating, courting relationships in private. No. Keep it real open. Keep it, let people know that this relationship is happening. Like, people that are older than you, maybe it's a cousin, maybe it's an auntie, uncle, mother, pastor, mentor, whoever it is. Let people know that these relationships are happening. Why? Because when light's exposed on it, there's less chance of darkness being able to happen. Don't be being on the phone late at night with a guy. Come on, you're going to build some kind of emotional ties with each other. So, have clear boundaries. Know your worth. And when you know your worth, you're not going to be up on the phone all night with a guy. You're not going to be in some kind of alleyway, back street with a guy. You're just not going to do it. You're not going to be in a compromising place with a girl, a woman, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Like, whoever you are. So have boundaries. And it takes such a strong person to say no to. Like, it's like, when we put ourselves on a diet or whatever else, and then they serve up cake. Do you know the willpower it takes to say no? Oh, but you feel so good for saying no.
Yeah, until it's time,
And then when you can eat the cake, you're like, oh, this is the best cake of my life.
So I was going to say, as you've mentioned that, I was going to say, how should they pursue dating? So, they've built up a friendship. How should they then pursue the dating? Because dating is not wrong, is it?
Absolutely not. It's getting to know people. So if you're younger, I'm a big fan of groups. So, like, we're going out to bowling together and whatever else in groups. And only when you kind of want to, that you want to be with each other, should you kind of take it outside of that. and then of course with the family's protection around you. So obviously when you're older, again, just have the parameters up, meet in public places, you know, limit this one, not everyone gets this, but limit the amount of time that you spend with each other. Oftentimes people get into these kind of friendships and then their life is consumed by this one person.
Yeah.
Honey, your life, and guys as well, your life has so much more purpose than this one person. Marriage is when you come together in purpose to do more things together. Whether that, you know, and your purposes, I believe, will align in some way. They don't have to be the same, but they'll align in some way. So that comes back to us dating with intention, dating with purpose. So date, get to know them. And when you know that they're the one for you, to the next stage, bring it to courting. You know, and it shouldn't take you years to figure out if this is the person you want to be with. Because if it is taking you years, there's either something in you that needs shifting, and that's between you and God, or something isn't right in the relationship, which again, you shouldn't be entertaining it if it's not. So I think dating, keep it in the light, keep it public, don't be doing anything behind people's backs. Because the thing is, you think that people are all kind of like wanting to be in your business. We're not. Do you know what we want to do? Protect you. We want to keep you, you know, so even now, right, Tab, if I was to say to you, you know what, I'm going on a date, right? So I'm now accountable to you.
Yes.
So I now need to know.
And we've done that.
Sorry?
We've done that. You would say, oh, I'm going for a tea, I'm going for a coffee in London. And then afterward, I'd message you and be like, okay, how did it go? Such and such. So, yeah.
Exactly. But I know, obviously, I don't lie. So if I do anything that's compromising, you're going to ask me.
Yes.
Right? And you're going to keep me accountable.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's actually a covering. So if I don't want to repeat it to anyone, I shouldn't be doing it in the first place. I came up with this the other day, and God just blew my mind. He literally said to me, I get so many questions on my Instagram and we do these lives, and someone asked, you know, what are the boundaries? What do we do? What's allowed? What's not? Are we allowed to kiss? Are we allowed to hold hands? What's this? And sometimes we can get so legalistic with this. But do you know what the Lord said to me? He said, don't do anything you won't do with your biological father in the room, because your heavenly father is always in the room. So if your biological father, right, or maybe it's an uncle you respect, or an older brother that you respect, right? If you wouldn't do it with them in the room, don't do it.
Oh, my mom used to say to me, sorry, my mom used to say to me all the time, just because I can't see you doesn't mean God doesn't see you. She always used to say so to me. So every time it's, you know, you think, oh, okay, God is really watching. And she would always say, imagine if God was to come back now. If he was to find you doing what you are doing, would you be left behind or would you be taken up? Like, would he be happy? So, yeah, so true.
I don't know about that because, you know, because God isn't physical, see him with our physical eyes. So what God shared with me is, all right, would you do that if your physical father was in the room? Because we can picture our physical father, right? Whereas God, we're like, well, what does he look like? And, and all these questions come, and, you know, we don't want to have this kind of heaven and hell discussion. It's not about that. You're giving your life to Christ. You have Jesus in your heart. Heaven's the destination. But will you hold that guy's hand? So I then looked at it as, if I'm dating, I won't be holding a guy's hand in front of my dad. But if I was in a courtship, I could, right? And then, you know, if I'm in a courtship, I'm not going to be sitting on this guy's lap in front of my dad. But married, sure. Like, my dad knows that, you know, whatever's going on is going on. We're married now, right? So it's one of those things. And everyone might, you might think, you know what, in front of my dad, I'll do this and not do this and whatever else. That's fine. But having that physical kind of mind thing of someone being in the room with me, like someone that I know and I love and I admire and honor, would I do that?
Yeah. I hear you. Wow. So we have literally covered so many areas in terms of dating, in terms of what to do when you're younger, when you're older, friendship, and everything like that. So my next question is, I think we've actually covered this. What are some of the mistakes that Christians make whilst dating?
Oh, I've got a good one.
I think we mentioned it, but for clarity, please.
This is something else. This is new.
Yes.
So what women do, we're so good at this. So what we do is if we see a guy we like and we've already walked down the aisle with him, we've already named the babies, we've already, pictured the house that we're going to live in, we've already, claimed them as our husband, but conversation hasn't even happened yet. We need to stop running ahead of God, pull ourselves back and just be like, one step at a time, I'm trusting you, Lord. If this is the way, if this is a relationship that honors you, you're going to open it in a way that honors you, right? Women run way ahead in their minds. We do this thing called overthinking. Stop it. We do it with relationships more so, I think, but in other areas of our life, and we think it's planning. You don't need to plan that. Mm-hmm. The truth is, God's ways are way higher. He thinks way deeper than you, and He do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask, hope, think, imagine. All right, Lord, I'll give you the plan that I thought up. I want yours because it's way better than anything I can come up with. Yeah. So stop overthinking, stop running ahead of God, stop defining relationships before their time. Like, many people do this, and I even kind of was really aware of this when I was young as well. Like, I wouldn't call someone my boyfriend if we hadn't had the discussion. They'd never asked me, right? But women do that. Oh, well, who is he to you? Oh, it's my boyfriend. And then you kind of like find out that they never actually had that conversation, right? So don't run ahead. Don't call someone that isn't what they are to you. And then, know that there's stages, and don't rush. There's no rush. If they are your happily forever after, really, like, what's the hurry?
Yeah. That's so true. So, and that is the truth. We do it a lot. Now, I don't know about the guys, but we do it a lot. I think the guys are a little bit more calmer. So when you come with them, it's kind of like, wow, dude, I just want to be friends. So what would you say? So I've got this question.
For guys to be aware of it. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I think it's important for guys to be aware of what women do.
Do you know what? To have that open dialogue and communication as to where they're at and where they would like to be. That's so true, because then it would stop the confusion, oh, I thought we were this, or I thought was that. When we spoke about in the beginning about being intentional, be intentional at every stage. Like, what is your intention for this person? So they would then be able to assess, okay, is this somewhere I would like to continue with? Or, I don't have the same kind of thinking as you do. So be intentional, be open, and be honest. Don't string them along, guys. If you're not, or ladies, because some people, they do that and they don't realize how hurtful it really is. Just be honest. This is what I am looking for, and just have that open communication. So thank you. You said that, hit the nail on the head.
And be honest with yourself. No one wants to be in relationships that they are not, beneficial to them in some way. Like, how does this relationship add to me? Every relationship is an investment. Where are you investing your time? Investment's not just with money. Investment's time. Time is actually way more precious than money. Yeah. So what am I investing my time in? Who am I investing my time with? And it's not just with relationships. Why am I studying this course? What's my intention? Or, why am I walking down the road at this time, or whatever else? Like, why am I having this meal, like why? Like just ask ourselves and really kind of think, what's the thoughts behind it? And some might surprise you.
That's true. That's so true. So I've got this question, and it's a bit of a, I guess this is based on everyone's own opinion, but what I do say, or, we're having this discussion, and obviously it is our opinions and stuff. So if there's anything that you see on here, go back and research it, go back, read the word of God, go back and have a deeper conversation about it, just so you are 100% sure of what you are doing, because this is your life and you need to be sure. So would you say, and I like this one, would you say attraction over character? I mean, would you say attraction over character? I know for guys, there are visual beings, okay? But what I'm trying to get at is, still don't, just because they look good, don't forget about everything else that comes with it. They might look good, but really have a really sour or spiteful tongue. So attraction over character. What would you say?
I say both. Look, God is good.
Tell me.
So, all right, women ask me this all the time. Like, men are super clear, like, she needs to be at least attractive to me. Like, men are super clear on this. But women, like, we kind of over spiritualize it, and as long as their character's all in line, but honey, you still have to kind of like wake up with them every morning. Do you like their face? Right? So we are first and foremost physical we're spiritual beings, yes, but we live in a physical realm. We live in a physical environment. And can I just be really honest with you? If the men I dated see me when I was about 12, 13, with these big goggly glasses, hair that I didn't know how to control, spots all over my face, they wouldn't have been running up to me. I didn't think I was beautiful. So beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, right? And it's one of those things that, you might not be attractive, but someone else will find you really attractive.
Yeah.
And the great thing that women do is we're like, all right, well, their character makes them more attractive. And it's true. They can be the most good-looking person, the most good-looking guy, but if they've got an ugly character, that makes them look ugly too. So we need both, and we need to, just be real with that. You want your mate to look good. You want them to be some kind of eye candy of some kind, but they need the character. Like, the character is fundamental. They need to have the Spirit of God. They need to believe the way that you believe. They need to, have similar interests. Like, what do best friends have? Best friends have same hobbies. They have the same interests. So we can't have one without the other. And hey, his ways are far better than ours. So I know that it's possible. God puts a desire in your heart means that it already exists.
Yeah. And I think sometimes as well, like what we say about the friendship allows you to see so much more about that person than if you did not know them at all. So I think sometimes, you find out that they're really, really funny, or maybe they laugh at their own jokes, and they, I all the time, and it really allows you to see that person more on a deeper level than more on a physical level, more than just the outside, because that is going to take you a long, long, long way. And then everything else, I believe everything else about them, it changes. You once had googly glasses, you don't have them anymore. No. But your character has been built up so much in Christ that, your beauty is just radiating on the outside, and it doesn't mean that they can't change, but their personality and everything, when you build up a friendship with them, you start to see them in a whole different light. It's like, hang on, wow, they really are good looking, wow, they really are pretty. Wow, there's something about them. They're so caring. Wow, they're so compassionate. Wow, I didn't know you did that. and that's because you've spent time to know them. So this links back to when we first started the conversation. Spending time with them to build up a friendship and a true having a foundation for a relationship allows you to see that person so much more in depth than anybody else would. So there would be something about them that you know, and it's just like, wow, like mind blowing, wow. You know, and God does say that we are all beautiful, and like what you mentioned, you know, someone else may not find you attractive, but somebody else would, because there is just something so special and so unique, even with your googly glasses. I mean, I've been wearing
fashion back then.
glasses
Hey,
before.
they were fashion back then.
Coming back into fashion now, darling. They're
Right.
like all shapes of glasses are coming back. You know, I think Tiny Temper started that one, but let's face it.
I think it's worth just noting, like, my grandparents have been married 62 years. They do not look the way they look right now when they first got together. Yeah. So there needs to be something more than just physical attraction. But I stand by, there needs to be physical attraction to some extent too.
Yeah. And this is why it's just based on your opinion. Like, yeah, there is something physical attraction. It's whether I would, yeah, because I believe, okay, and this is where opinions differ. I believe sometimes that person, that thing about that person just makes them so much more better looking than what you've ever seen before. And it just goes back to spending that time and getting to really know that person, what they're about, what their values are, whether their values match up with yours or not, what they're saying, are they speaking in line with God's word, are they trying to pull you away from God, or are they trying to grow you in God, you know, and you're running together for God, because ultimately the end goal is to be closer with God. You know, and a marriage definitely helps form that. So that's from the dating to the courting. Once you've chosen that person, like what you were saying, right? Once you've chosen that person, you're saying, yes, this is a person that I believe as though I would like to marry. You enter into courtship. There was something about the dating that I wanted to just mention as well. When we were saying have people accountable, you don't need to, and you can quote me, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm completely open. You don't need to tell everybody or let everybody see that you're in the relationship, if you know what I mean. So, you know, what we were saying about you're always together, you know, you stand right next to each other, you know, have a bit of mystery. You don't need to tell everybody that you're in a relationship, but the ones that count, that can really keep you accountable, because the last thing that you want is have it so public that if anything was to happen, everybody knows. You know, and then you're exposed, your vulnerability is exposed. You're not even allowed to take time to heal because everybody knows about it. Or, you know, you have to find a different church because it was just so public. You know, I personally don't believe you need to do that, but you do need to have people that know about the relationship to be able to keep you accountable. I completely 100% agree with that, but you don't need to make it obvious that you are in a relationship with that person until you've come out to say, I have chosen that person, and yeah, for guys, you know, this is who I would like to spend the rest of my life with. Ladies, the same way. And then you make that public, you can then announce it to everyone. But I don't believe you need to make it so public that everybody needs to know, because you do want to safeguard yourself.
I mean, that's such an important thing. And one thing I actually teach is, you know, social media nowadays, everything's on social media. Don't put it on social media until you actually confirm something, like until it's like for real. Yeah. Because the thing is, what happens is, you know those accounts that they're with someone every other week.
Yes.
You know those accounts. I don't need to, you know, they're there. And then all of a sudden, this person just disappears from their timeline. It's like, hold up, what happened? Like, yeah, not everyone needs to know your business. I think that's really good advice there. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm enjoying this conversation. So grateful that we're able to just spend this time and grow and see the growth, and learn from our experience and teach from our experience, and our revelation as to what God has shown us and said. So we mentioned about courtship, but can you just be clear what courtship is, please?
So courtship is basically dating with the intended result to marry. So for me, it's the time that you kind of like, all right, like it's not an engagement. So you don't have to get on one knee and propose, but it's the dating with intent to marry. It's the getting to know someone because in your mind, you've settled that you want to marry them. And it's, I think, a place where, the family or your close people need to kind of be informed and aware. So it's more of like you're making the relationship a bit more public. You're being more intentional about getting to know each other for marriage. So what does that look like? You can start discussing topics such as, getting to know each other more on a deeper level, like what are your likes, your dislikes, your talk about a bit more of, what you've been through, talk about your dreams, your hopes together, that kind of thing. So you kind of having a bit of deeper level conversations. And again, just be more intentional with your time together. Why are we going there? Why are we doing this? And also just having fun, like getting to really know the person that you want to be married to. And then, start considering things like premarital counseling. So you'll go to your pastor and see if they offer counseling and be like, hey, like, this is someone I think I'd really like to marry. Like, can we start having those discussions? And then they'll counsel you through some really difficult topics that you probably haven't even thought about, which provoke you and help you consider whether you can really for real be married with this person, because those conversations will start bringing up some stuff from your past. They will start exposing you to the reality of marriage with this particular person. So they're the kind of considerations that you need to be having now that you're kind of courting.
Okay. So I always thought that the courting period is you've had some of those discussions. So, what are your likes, your dislikes? Because before you enter and say yes, that you've had all of those discussions prior to that to know whether this is really somebody who I would like to take that relationship to the next level. And I always believed that courting was when you've actually said yes. Maybe there's just a bit of a fine line, because you'd have premarital counseling once you've been engaged.
It depends. So, for example, dating, the whole kind of like dating, we said it's more friendship, right? Mm-hmm. So there's certain conversations you don't have with friends. Like you won't ask them, oh, what do you like in a marriage? Or, what kind of roles you want to have in a marriage? Like you won't ask those to a friend. I don't know, I won't, unless the conversation is up. But then it's kind of like, it's just knowing your place. But in a friendship, you will talk about likes and dislikes, but you won't talk about them specifically to marriage. So in courting, you're more kind of intentional towards marriage. You're more kind of like building. So this will be a time where you kind of start sharing more of the personal stuff that you don't speak about to all other friends. Mm-hmm. And then engagement, hopefully you'll be sharing a bit more. And then, husband and wife, that's it. You made your decision. Whatever comes out now, you've got to work through.
Right.
So some people go through premarital counseling before they get engaged. Some people, get proposed to, or there's kind of like, because they're taking it that serious, it's the deciding factor on for real engagement. Does that make sense? But again, like when you're being intentional with someone, this shouldn't span out over years. When you're being intentional with someone, there kind of needs to be an intended goal. So courting is more about bringing those things into kind of alignment. Like, for example, if you're from different cultures, you kind of need to learn a bit more about each other's culture. Mm-hmm. You kind of need to get around each other's families a bit more to see, and you'll look at their parents, because the truth is that parent is in some way a reflection of that person that you want to marry.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know I've got both my mother and father characteristics in me. Everyone does, because that's the environment I was brought up in. They're the characteristics that, have been cultivated inside of me. So that's the difference with courting, where you won't necessarily do as much of that in the friendship dating stage.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're seeing the dynamics of how you two can be together as a relationship. So I don't know. I invite friends to barbecues too, but I won't invite every friend, right? But then if I'm courting someone, hey, they're invited to the barbecue party too, right? So it's more of that kind of social interaction with family, the way I see it.
I think I hear that. I completely get it, because I'm thinking of everything that we said and others, that are friends of mine and stuff. And I think once you're intentional, like I think you hit the nail on the head. Once you're being intentional, every step of the way, you are going to be having conversations. And it doesn't mean that you're going to have those conversations at that specific time. But some of those conversations might come sooner. Some of those conversations might come later. But because you're being intentional, you're not just going to, you are, when it first starts, you are hanging out as friends, some packs your curiosity. There is something about this person that's just so different to anything that I've seen and anyone that I've come across, and I would really like to get to know more. So you are going to invite them out on a date, because now you're taking it a little bit more romantically. And you're going to start seeing whether you guys really have similar things in common, or we hang out as friends, but I would like to just get to know a little bit more. And then you take it and you continue until marriage. But because you've started off with a clear intention, a clear goal as to where you want to be, some of those conversations are going to happen. So I completely get it.
Right.
I get it. So what we'll do, I'll ask you, what is your final advice for guys and girls, young and older, because I wouldn't say old, but young and older, and what's your final words of advice for them?
Keep it real simple. Know God for yourself. Because when you know God for yourself, He's the one that directs our path. He's the one that directs our steps. When you know God for yourself, you won't be looking around to everyone else asking, is this the man for me? Or is this the woman for me? Because you know God yourself. You would have got the word from God yourself. And when you enter a relationship knowing that God's in it, and you've had that confirmation yourself, you know you can get through anything that relationship brings. And the truth is, marriage isn't easy, but it is amazing. I believe it's a reflection of heaven on earth, because you're so intimate with one other being. But it's, you literally are mirroring each other. You're exposing each other. One preacher said, if your feet smell, you're there. They're your feet. They smell, right? But if you're in a relationship with someone else, you're married to them, you live in the same house as them, they're going to know your feet smell, right? So it's a next level in exposure of yourself, and you are going to be very vulnerable, and there's going to be, highs and lows, prayerfully more highs than lows. But it's know God for yourself. Know God, know what God's speaking to you, have that continued dialogue with Him. And then inside yourself, inside your heart, with the Spirit, that this is God's will for your own life.
Yeah.
And that will hold you throughout the whole of the marriage.
That's so true. That's so true. For any age, that is the most important being, because God is going to show you things. He's going to expose things about you, about yourself, and even about the other person that, before you enter into marriage, you might want to check on that, really. So we call them flags, red flags. But it's so true to have that relationship with God, so God can reveal you and help mold you and grow you and take you to that next level in every stage. And like what you said, He's going to keep you and sustain you because you know him. So yeah, oh my gosh. Lady Gozen, I want to thank you so much for joining me today and having a conversation so openly about dating and courting. And yeah, I covered so much today, and I really just want to thank you for taking the time out. Like I said, I've known you for probably over 5 years now, and we've grown. I mean, the Bible studies and the conversation. So if anyone wanted to find you, where can they find you?
LadyGozen.com, got the website there, or Lady Gozen on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. So yeah, let's connect. I would love to share more with you.
And you mentioned Wife in the Waiting. Is that another page?
A Wife in the Waiting Academy. So LadyGozen.com, there's going to be more resources and stuff available in that, but I'll always kind of publicize it there first.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. And thank you everyone. Oh, it was a pleasure.